Wait! Don't sign that contract until you watch this. I see this happen all the time. Artists constantly get taken advantage of. They're given a contract and don't have money to spend on an attorney, so they just say, let's go for it, and sign the papers. This video is about a few basic important components that you should know before signing any contract. This is a great time to remind you quickly to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. This is also a great time to mention I am not an entertainment attorney, so if you need professional advice, please contact an attorney. With that being said, let's get started. Good contract or bad contract? Look, a contract can be 1 page long or 800 pages long. It can be good, it can be bad. There are no rules to contracts other than the legal information in them. A great contract for me could be a bad one for you. A contract I signed 13 years ago that was great for me at the time might be a terrible one for me to sign now, considering where I am in my career today. The point is, there is no one size fits all, but there are some terms you should know before reading through your contract. Here are the basics. First and foremost, sign a contract or agree to terms in writing, even an email will do, before you hand your music to anyone. Protect your intellectual property and know what you're getting into before you get into it. You're going to find these terms, this language, in 99% of the music contracts out there. Terms of contract. In this clause, which is a particular and separate article, stipulation, or provision in a treaty, bill, or contract. Basically, it's fancy contract language for a paragraph. In that, you will find the length of the contract. Is it a year long, like your rental lease? Is it a 5-year long contract? Maybe it's in perpetuity. That means
forever.
All these options are fine. Nothing wrong with any of them. You just need to know which one you're signing off on. Some contracts will end after a certain period, at which point you have to sign a new one. And some contracts will renew automatically. Territory. Usually this clause will simply state the universe. And the point is, this contract is valid in the entire universe. So whether you're in New York, Zimbabwe, the moon, or Mars, it is legally binding. Exclusive versus non-exclusive. Exclusivity is all about who has the right to represent your music and where. As one might assume, exclusive means this library is the only library allowed to represent your music for the term of the contract, while non-exclusive means other people and other companies can represent your music as well. Again, no right or wrong here, just be aware of what you're signing. I personally have music in exclusive and non-exclusive libraries. Look, I'm not going to get into all the legalities of copyright law. What I will do is give you 2 opposite examples of exclusive contracts. Again, same idea of a contract, exclusive, but totally different as far as rights go. Number 1, this library's exclusivity only pertains to the licensing domain. Submitted tracks are not to appear in any other library for license during this agreement's term. This exclusivity does not extend to streaming services, physical sale of music, or promotion. Here, we have an exclusive contract that states that this library's exclusivity only pertains to the licensing domain, which means I own the tracks and can do whatever I want to do with these, except have them in another library during the term of this contract. So if I want to make any money in any other way with the music, like Spotify, Apple Music, Google, I have every right to do so. Number 2, here we have an exclusive contract as well. But this one states that composer hereby irrevocably and absolutely assigns, transfers, and grants to company, its successors, and assignees an undivided 100% of all rights, title, and interests of every kind and nature, whether now known or hereafter discovered or established, in and to the works. And that, my friends, means you now own exactly 0% of your work for the length of this contract. You can't do anything with this music in any way, shape, or form. The library you signed with now owns it. The only thing you still own are the writing rights to your songs. You can't do anything with that other than collect payments from one of the PROs, ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC, if the song gets licensed somewhere. But that's it. And again, I'll say, there's nothing wrong with them asking for 100% ownership. It's not illegal and not necessarily a bad move. But there's also nothing wrong with you saying you're not comfortable with that and that you'd like to change that clause if it doesn't work for you. No one is making you sign it. However, I gotta let you know that the other party might not like your requests and decide not to offer you the contract altogether. So keep that in mind. By the way, I know you probably don't deal with contracts every day, so in order to help you remember these terms, I've made a PDF with all the pertinent information. If you'd like it, just hit the link in the description below and I'll send it your way. Now, although upfront fees are mostly a thing of the past for certain music libraries, there are some out there that will absolutely pay you for your music upfront. If you think your music is worth upfront money and you're willing to put in the time and effort to find an exclusive library that will pay you upfront, then it's your prerogative. It's your right. No one's stopping you. In fact, there's a great positive point to getting paid upfront other than just having the money. See, if a library pays you $10,000 for your album as an upfront fee, they're now out 10 grand, and they're going to have even more motivation to get your music placed so they can recoup that money. Regarding back-end compensation, 50-50 is pretty standard in the industry. What that means is if someone licenses your song from, say, Wacky Tunes Music Library for $1,000, they get $500 and you get $500. Most contracts will have an indemnification clause. The gist of it is, if someone sues them because you illegally misrepresented something in the contract, they are protected and the blame falls on you. Here's an example. You wrote a song with your band 20 years ago. You had 5 members and you each owned 20% of the writing and publishing. Now you forgot that you all split the writing and publishing and you sign it off to a library as the 100% owner. You've legally claimed you own 100% of this song. Writing, publishing, copyright, you own it all. Well, at least you said you did. Now guess what? It just got placed in the Coca-Cola commercial for the Super Bowl. We're talking about a huge payday for you. But guess again, your bandmates from back in the day, the co-owners of this music, happened to watch the Super Bowl, see their song on there, and end up going after Coca-Cola for not paying them. Coca-Cola, in turn, blames Wacky Tunes Library that gave them the music in the first place. And the library, in turn, blames you. Why? Because in the contract you signed, there's a clause that protects them from your screw-up. And this is your screw-up. Here's the good part. Even if you signed a contract with a library that now owns your music, all of it, 100%, in perpetuity, in the entire universe, one of the only ways for them to actually make money from it is to get your music placed. So they usually have every incentive to place your music, and that is the silver lining. And a piece of advice. If you just watch this video and you're kicking yourself in the ass because you signed a crappy contract, it's okay. I can't tell you how many shitty contracts I've signed. How do you think I know all of this stuff? You'll make more music, and you'll be much more aware next time someone hands you a contract. Again, if you need professional legal advice, please hire an attorney to review your contract. I hope you've learned a few things here. Please let me know in the comments, as usual, if there's anything else you'd like to know. I'll see you again next week.